let's be real for a second. Finding a job these days, it can feel like you're lost in a jungle, right?
Yeah, totally.
You're competing with tons of people. Systems are complicated. And those applicant tracking systems, I mean, don't even get me started.
Oh, tell me about it. Those AI things are like gatekeepers.
Yeah.
They filter out candidates before a human even sees the resume.
It's brutal. So when you sent us information about this RoleCatcher thing, claiming to be like the ultimate weapon to not just survive, but actually thrive in the job market, we had to check it out.
Right. It sounded kind of wild.
Totally.
Yeah.
So from what we've seen, it's more than just a simple job board.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to do more.
Way more. They pull together job postings from different sites, analyze your resume to please the algorithms, and they even help you get ready for interviews.
It's a lot. They even try to help you beat those AI systems, which is a whole other thing.
Okay, yeah, that's what really got me. How do you even beat an algorithm? What does that even mean?
It's wild, right? They basically teach you the rules of the game. What are those algorithms looking for? Things like keywords, formatting your resume so it doesn't freak out the system, and how to present your skills in a way that even a robot can understand.
So it's less about whether you'd be a good fit for the job and more about convincing a computer you are. That feels a little weird, don't you think?
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, for sure.
Yeah.
It shows how much the job market has changed. And to explain how RoleCatcher tackles this, they use this interesting example. Have you ever heard of a deburring machine operator?
Deburring. Honestly, I had to Google it. Not exactly a common career path you hear about every day.
Exactly. And that's why it's such a good example for RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
It shows how they handle all sorts of jobs, even really specific ones, tailoring their approach to each one.
Okay, so deburring. Before we go any further, what does a deburring machine operator actually do?
Some jobs are exactly what they sound like. Deburring is one of those. Think about all the metal parts in cars, airplanes, even your phone. They don't just magically appear perfectly smooth.
Yeah, there's got to be some rough spots, leftover stuff from the manufacturing process.
Exactly. Even tiny imperfections can cause big problems. Parts that don't fit weak spots that break easily. That's where deburring comes in.
So they're like metal smoothers, industrial strength sanders, making everything perfect.
Pretty much. They use these specialized machines to grind smooth and polish metal parts. It's all about precision. We're talking hammers, sanders, even lasers and water jets for those super fine details.
Wow, that's some high-tech and hands-on work. You'd need serious skills for that.
Absolutely. And that's what's interesting about RoleCatcher's approach. They get that being a deburring machine operator is more than just technical stuff. They emphasize safety, being able to solve problems under pressure, having a good eye for detail. All super important in that line of work.
And that's where the whole interview prep thing comes in, right? Because even if you can convince a computer you're like the deburring master, you still have to impress a real person in an interview.
Yes, exactly. RoleCatcher says they have over 120,000 interview questions in their database. And get this, they have questions specifically for people who want to work in deburring.
Wait, 120,000 questions? Even if they're tailored to different jobs, that's insane. How could anyone prepare for that?
It's not about memorizing every answer. It's more about understanding what they're really asking you. What skills and experience are they looking for? That kind of thing.
So it's like they're giving you the tools to build your own answers instead of just feeding you lines to repeat.
Right. And this is where their AI-powered feedback thing comes in, which is pretty interesting.
Hold on, you mean like a computer is judging how I'm answering? Analyzing every word and everything? That's kind of scary, but also maybe helpful. I don't know whether to be impressed or terrified.
A little of both, probably.
Yeah.
But this is one area where RoleCatcher might be overselling things a bit.
Okay, so let's talk about this AI feedback. How does it actually work? Is it like having a robot career coach, watching my every move, listening to every word?
Kind of. You record yourself answering practice questions, and the AI supposedly analyzes it all. Your words, how you say them, even your body language.
So it's like it can tell if I get nervous when I talk about salary expectations or something.
Maybe not that specific, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
They say you can pick up on things like if you're rambling, not making eye contact, or using too much technical jargon.
It's pretty amazing what they can do with technology these days, but is it actually helpful? That's what I want to know.
That's the big question, right? The technology is definitely impressive, but whether it gives really good personalized advice is still up for debate. It might catch small mistakes, but I'm not sure it can replace a real human coach.
So maybe a useful tool, but not a substitute for good old-fashioned practice and being self-aware.
Exactly. And speaking of practice, let's go back to those deburring interview questions.
Sure.
What kind of curveballs does RoleCatcher think employers will throw at you?
Oh man, I bet they have questions about like the exact angle to hold a pneumatic grinder or something crazy like that.
You laugh, but they might. But it's not all technical stuff. The questions we saw were actually pretty smart. Like, how do you make sure you're doing high-quality work? Or tell me about a time you had to fix a problem with the deburring machine. What did you do?
Wow, those are really specific. You couldn't just wing it if you didn't know what you were talking about.
Right. And that's where a platform like RoleCatcher could be helpful. It helps job seekers and employers cut through all the noise, get specific, and find the right match.
So should we all be running to sign up for RoleCatcher? Is this the magic solution to getting our resumes noticed?
Here's the thing. There's no such thing as a magic solution in the job market. Just like there's no one tool that makes you a master deburrer, RoleCatcher can be useful. It helps you get organized, gives you insights, and even offers some AI guidance. But it's not a shortcut to success.
So it's like a fancy toolbox. You still need to know how to use the tools.
Exactly. And that's why I think this deep dive was so interesting. It's not just about one website or app. It's about understanding how the job market is changing and learning how to adapt.
Well said. So, to everyone listening, whether you're a deburring expert or just starting your career, remember, tools can be helpful, but your skills, your experience, and knowing yourself are the most important things you have.
And don't be afraid to be curious. You never know what amazing career paths you might discover.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive into RoleCatcher and the surprisingly interesting world of deburring. We'll leave you with this thought. In a job market that's becoming more and more automated, don't forget about the human side of things. What are you good at? What kind of work really gets you excited? Finding the right fit for you, that's the real key to a successful career.